And now the mark, oh! Oh! It went to 0!
Don't get rug pulled. Don't get rug pulled. Don't get rug pulled. Don't get rug pulled. Heard that project is a trap. Don't get rug pulled. Everything they say is kept. Don't get rug pulled. 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 Turn your savings into scraps. Don't get rug pulled. They be plotting on your racks. Whoa, whoa. We gon' know where we at. New USB for my racks. Not slipping, no, I never let. VPN changed the map. Like, you know that he kept. I know he be hacking. Look at the way I shake. The same way I bring racks in. That's the same way I bring racks in.
Damn!
That's the same way I bring racks in. That's the same way I bring racks in. Don't get rug pulled. 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 Heard that project is a trap. Don't get rug pulled. Everything they say is kept.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever FUDDERS live stream. This is going to be our new weekly Roundtable live stream where we go over all the bad news in the NFT industry for that week. I got my co-hosts here, my man Mo Knows and BE from the VV Drop channel. And as you can see there on the screen, we've got 5 different topics that we're going to be talking about today. Before we get to those, though, I do want to introduce you guys to my co-hosts. If you guys haven't met them already, I'm going to show you guys their YouTube channels. They both have YouTube channels. We'll start up top with BE. He is the creator and owner of the VV Drop channel. What's up, BE? Let everybody know your history with NFTs and let them know about your YouTube channel.
Hey, it's good to see everyone. Yeah, so I got into NFTs actually with the DC Palm when they were giving away those discs. And I really wanted to find something easy, something where I didn't have to worry about cryptocurrency and stuff like that. And I just started searching. I came across VV. And I gave it a try, and here I am. And of course, came across your channel, OG Vault, and that really helped me at the beginning. It still helps me. And actually, a year ago, I wanted to do my own channel. I did like 3 videos, nothing happened. And about 3 months ago, I decided let's try it again. And here I am. I put out a bunch of videos. I really enjoy it. It does take a lot of time. But it's fun, and I really like to do VV and some of these other projects. So yeah, that's really how I started on this, just a couple years ago, basically.
Perfect. And I linked his YouTube channel in the chat. It's also linked in the description. BE's also well known as being one of the top snipers on the VV app. On drop days, he gets a ton of good serial numbers and flips them up for profit, so you can check out more about that on his channel. And then below me, we got the man Mo Knows, who is my co-host on Friday and Saturday nights when we live stream Photo Finish Live NFT horse racing on the Solana blockchain, and he has his own channel as well. Mo Knows he's not just an animated skeleton, he's actually a real person. Mo, tell us about your history with NFTs and about your YouTube channel a little bit.
Yes, sir. What up, chat? Appreciate you guys having me back. Some of you guys know me, some of you don't. I am a full-time degenerate, currently experiencing a midlife crisis, according to most people I know. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I'm ready here to talk some shit. And apparently I'm the bottom bitch around here because I'm stuck down here. But in the meantime, I'm happy to be here and I look forward to talking some smack.
I didn't know you had a preference, Mo. I didn't know you didn't want to be on the bottom. I wasn't sure where to put everybody. It was kind of random. I was just throw them all in there, and everybody is where they are. What's up, everybody in the chat? Thank you for hanging out with us. We got Alejandro here. I see Big A, Bruin 88, Shelba Cobra, Quilly Mustis, Dan K, Kurazimi wants to know about my Starry night drop. We're going to get to that. That is the 3rd topic of the day. But we want to start off with the big topic that everybody's been talking about recently. That, of course, is Dannyboy, who is one of the whales on the VV app. He recently did an OTC deal with VV. I'm assuming that OTC stands for off the chain, which ironically it was my nickname in college, but I'm not sure that's what OTC stands for. But what was really interesting about it was that not only did he receive about 200,000, 250,000 by some estimates worth of NFTs sent to him, including a lot of serial numbers that were not available to the public, he also sent back to VV about 50 of these Amelia Earhart House of Cards and actually some Cleopatras too. I got his wallet pulled up. We're going to look at that while we talk about it. I'll start off with you, Mo. What do you think on this situation with Dannyboy?
Yes, I was keeping an eye on that on Twitter. I saw the information start popping up, man. Dude, listen, this is a huge problem, man. Every time it seems like it happens every couple weeks now. It's just something else comes out, man. Do they realize that everything's on the blockchain? I don't think they realize this, man. It's crazy to me, and this deal here, it does stand for over the counter, right? 'Cause we were talking about this earlier. I was like, man, is that over the counter? 'Cause that's the only thing I know from like medical stuff. But I guess it is. Off the chain, or what do you think it was? OTC, off the chain, right?
Well,
But yeah,
blockchain
it is.
says over the counter. You might be right. I thought
Yeah.
off the chain, maybe just because, like I said, that was my nickname. People say I'm off the chain. That's why I thought it. My bad. My bad. You're probably right. Over the counter. It was an over the counter deal. OTC.
I'm going by chat. Yeah, like I said, because I asked you the same question. I'm like, I know OTC is over the counter, but how the hell does that relate to NFTs? But I guess it would make sense, like not an under the count, like not an under the table deal. It is out in the open, so over the counter, right? I guess that makes sense. But yeah, it is. It's embarrassing, man. Like Willie said, I don't understand how they just continue to do these over and over again and expect people to keep pouring money into the app. I mean, I bought a freaking rabbit this week. What the hell is wrong with me? Like, I gotta have my head checked, man. This shit's getting out of control.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions about it myself. Like, how do they determine the values for these low serial numbers that aren't even available to the public? And how do they determine the value that they gave Dannyboy for the House of Cards NFTs, especially when there's so many of them? It's not like you can give them floor price because you can't sell that many at floor price. I don't know, BE, what do you think about the situation?
I mean, I think it's exciting. It's wonderful because now I feel like I can get an SR Toby, mint number one for like $1. So I mean, this is pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. I mean, and if he's getting these at floor price, I mean, that's kind of what he was saying in what was it on Twitter? It's ridiculous. I mean, I'll do it if they want to sell me some, really cool stuff at low mints. I'll buy them. I mean, unless this is going to be for everyone, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's not fair for everyone to prioritize these whales. Yeah, it just makes it not worth it. And I also bought that rabbit. I bought a couple. So please shoot me.
Yeah, you guys talked to me about into the rabbits too. I ended up buying one myself. It was hard to resist. As you can see, there's a lot of good stuff here. Ultimate Animated Spider-Mans. You got a lot of Miles Moraleses here. Ultimate Spider-Man. Partner statues, R2-D2s. The question is, what's the bullish side of this? From what Dannyboy says, and we'll go ahead and pull up some of the information from Dannyboy. If you guys don't know who he is, he's on Twitter. You guys can follow him on Twitter. He actually just did an interview with NFT Pirates about a week ago. If you want to get to know him better, he was, I think, one of the top 5 wallets on VV before this happened. Probably like number 1 or number 2 now. But he did put out a tweet after the news broke about it. He says that VV was not hacked. There is no risk to assets. I encourage anyone wanting to invest a lot of money far outside of bank credit card limits to approach VV directly, but expect every gem to be $1 USD and every transaction to be at or above floor rates, sometimes multiples. So what he's saying here, for one, is that he's the one that approached VV, and it almost sounds like he's paying that. Is he saying that he only paid floor price for all these? Every transaction to be at or above floor rates. So it almost feels like he's paying floor rates for those low serial numbers. Is that what you guys get from it also?
I'm getting multiple the floor rate. So I mean, if he was getting a low mint, maybe he did pay out the ass for it. But either way, man, what's the buying power here? You're gonna hook me up, and I'm gonna broadcast this to, what do you have, 2,600 followers, or is that just how many likes he had? How many followers that guy have?
How many does he have? I'm not sure. I'd have to look him up on Twitter. I'll look him up real quick.
I mean, if you're somebody with like 2 million followers, and you're like, yo, I got some clout, I can pull in some activity for VV. Maybe I'd be kind of okay with it, but I mean, like, you might as well give you access, even though they hate you.
Right.
Right. He's got about 2,300 followers on Twitter. Like I said, he was just recently on NFT Pirates, and he was one of my favorite whales. I even said that during the NFT Pirates live stream. I've talked to him a few times. He's always been cool. I'd have to check to see if we ever DM'd each other. I did invite him to come on the stream either tonight or some other time, but I don't think he's been back on Twitter since all this went down. You can see where he replied to one of my favorite people, Kaki Gaijin, and he says, as advised, KYB, which is kind of like KYC, know your customer, except for it's know your business. So he's talking about businesses, not just individuals investing into VV. He's saying KYB is important for the health of the secondary market, and I'm pushing VV to rush this through as soon as possible so big deals can be done. The bigger the deals, the bigger the trickle down to every NFT. Only if they, I don't know if that's true or not. VV must aim high with these things. Records need to be broken. So does that at least sound a little bit bullish to you guys?
I mean, it could be. We were talking earlier. I mean, sell me the AF-15 #1 for 26,000. I'll buy it. I mean, is that fair? I mean, maybe it helps the market. I think it just helps the buyer. And I'm not saying Danny's a bad guy because he's smart if he was able to pull this together, but it doesn't seem good to me. I mean, I don't see how it's going to be good for us. You're going to get the whales buying all the good stuff. I mean, I already think like sub 100 stuff in the end could be what's worth it, and stuff above, we don't know where that's going to go. So you can get the low stuff. Yeah, I want it. I just don't think it's going to be good for us.
Yeah, just to be clear real quick, I have nothing against Danny. I don't know who this guy is. You know what I'm saying? My point is, when you start undermining the market and the integrity of the market, and they're not going to say anything about it, and they're going to act coy about it, like, no, these things don't happen, and it's a joke. But this has nothing to do with Dan himself or anybody else personally. It just has to do with how the system seems to operate. And every other turn, there's just something else with VV that blows my mind personally, and that other companies just aren't doing. So I don't know, man. It just seems like a lot of bad business practices. Whoever's advising them needs to get fired, honestly.
Well, I do have his profile, his Twitter profile pulled up. It says that he's a film director, and he talks about supporting indie films. So I don't know. I think it could be bullish that if other big companies that are investing into VV, like they want to put their money instead of the stock market, or banks right now are kind of shady. Everybody's worried about banks. And I was just talking to somebody in my Discord server about how I was watching some random guy on YouTube who had a lot of subscribers, and he was doing a live stream where he's talking to stockbrokers on New York, on Wall Street, and he would ask them particular things. One of them was, are we in a recession? And it was kind of sad to hear that about half of them said we were, or we were about to be. But what was really interesting was that about half, maybe even more than half, when they asked him, what are you investing in? I was surprised to hear it. They all said NFTs. And he's labeling these as rich people. What do you do to get rich? And when he's asking them what to invest in, it was pretty surprising, but it's probably very bullish to hear that they're still investing in NFTs. I do have this reply to Javier that Dannyboy said on Twitter as well, where he's talking about he does have 10,000 collectibles and multiples of almost every one, because he already had a top 5 wallet on the app on VV before this even happened. So it's not like he plans on selling them all off in the market. However, if he was able to flip that Marvel comic #1 secret rare #100 to another whale for half of what he paid for all of his NFTs, then I don't know. That doesn't seem very fair to me. Shout out to everybody in the chat. This is an interactive stream, so if you guys have any comments about this, let me know in the chat, and we'll try to get to those before we move to the next topic. But what do you think, Mo, about him being able to? You think he's allowed to sell them? Did they give him any limitations to where he can't sell them after purchasing them?
Maybe, and if that's the case, then maybe some transparency on that would be nice. But some could argue it's none of our business. But listen, you're talking about people's money here, their livelihood. I'm not a low mint number collector. If I was, I'd really be pissed. I probably wouldn't be sitting here on this podcast. I'd probably just be taking it out on somebody else elsewhere. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just a weird take, man. I don't know. I've been trying to make sense of it all since last night.
Yeah, I see where Tom says Danny has been around since the start, which is true. He bought a lot. He was one of the 4th or 5th people to capture the Donnie scam. I'm not sure what that means, but I do know that I was in the Twitter space where they were discussing this last night. And apparently a guy named I Help Society says that he was texting with David Yu, and he did show his screenshots. Of course, Coffee Chris at the time pointed out that we're not 100% sure that he's telling the truth. I mean, I Help Society has a back and forth record. I don't know if you should believe him or not, but we did see some screenshots, and David Yu's response to it was, according to I Help Society, I'll explain it, or we'll explain it if we have to, but it seems like people in the community, what did he say, jump to conclusions too much. Like, it kind of was not a very good response from David Yu. Like, they didn't want to have to reply about it. And somebody else mentioned during that Twitter space, which they kind of shut it down, but they mentioned how VV was now pre-minting a whole bunch of NFTs. And to me, it almost looked like VV was purposely pushing those transactions down on a Mutascan so that they'd be harder to find when people searched for them. Am I crazy, BE? Is that just a conspiracy theory, or do you think it's possible that maybe this has happened before and then they pre-minted a bunch of NFTs afterwards to make it harder for people to search for them?
Yeah, but hard is does not mean you can't find. I mean, it's on the blockchain. It's gonna be found. There's people who have nothing better to do, so they're gonna find it. Uh, that I help society guy. Didn't he? I think originally he helped people sell stuff before we were able to cash out, if I'm correct.
Well, I want to say originally that was his second role. Before he was I Help Society, he was known as I Hate Society. That was his name. And there's several people in the community who really dislike him. And I don't know if he was. I don't think he was involved in any type of scams or anything. He changed his name to Help I Help Society, and I even gave him his own channel in my Discord server to help people to trade off app. And he would tip me a couple $100 every couple of weeks for it. So, I mean, I can't fault the guy. A lot of people were doing off app transactions, and it looks like VV does them themselves. So there's no way you can really fault somebody for that. But he did lose his account because of that, and I hear that he's trying to get it back. So I don't know really the details on that one. But for some reason, and he's saying that somebody reported him on Twitter for off app transactions back in the day, and VV disabled his account just for that. So, like I said, I don't know how truthful he is. Big A made a good point here. He says, pretty sure Danny said that he heads a venture capital group, so I don't think this is all his personal money. That's why Know Your Business was mentioned. He did say KYB, which is Know Your Business. Ronnie Lido says, I thought all the mints withheld by VV were unobtainable. That's what we thought too, but apparently not. I know for sure that Reverend Alex said in an interview that they would never hit the or see the light of day. And then just a couple weeks later, he had a community update where he corrected that. He even said, I just said that a couple weeks ago, but I found out that they could possibly see the light of day, and they're seeing a lot of light right now. Simon Doe says, might not be our business, but it's not a good look. I don't know. Is it our business? That's a good question too. Some people say they can do whatever they want. We shouldn't even be looking into it. I know I replied to somebody on Twitter just right before we went live who said, why are you guys even talking about that? They do whatever they want. Mo, what do you think? Is that a legitimate argument on this?
So I'm going to kind of correlate this to maybe dating or something, right? Like if I have a girl and I trust her and she goes out and she's going to do whatever she wants, if I think whatever she wants is just going to be having a good time coming home back to me, we'll be all right. If I think she's going to go out whoring around, it's probably not going to end too well. So, I mean, you know, it really depends on the approach that happens here, because I don't know, man. There's just too much going on with it.
What do you think, BE?
Well, first, do you have that little pop-up where we can show where they actually say what they do with the held additions? I got here.
Yes, sir. If we look at any of the most recent, I thought I had it pulled up. I'll pull it up again. Go ahead and explain to them, what they're talking about.
So, like on the Rabbits drop, it says a total of 90 additions from each rarity will be withheld by VV for licensor, promotional, team, and comp distribution. So, I mean, it doesn't say Dannyboy. And again, I have nothing. If he happens to be watching this, I have nothing against you, Danny. You're smart. You made a good deal. But if you're going to say that, then don't go whoring yourself on the side, as Mo would say.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about VV whoring themselves, not necessarily Danny.
Yeah, VV doing the deal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not Danny. He didn't do anything wrong. No.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Like I said, he's just playing the game. You know what I'm saying? You have to respect the hustle. And you said before, Vol, who's at fault? You know who's at fault during the Dirty Gem scandal and all that stuff? People like me. People who are like, you know what, man? I like to do things the right way. I like to wake up in the morning, look at myself in the mirror, and I feel like a piece of shit. You know, I'm gonna support the company. I'm gonna pay the $1 per gem. And I'm like, wow, why is my investment only worth 30% of what it was? Because you know what? They were paying 30 cents on the dollar. You know what I mean? So, you know, again, I'm the one at fault. People like me, the sucker that came in at the high with the bots, with the dirty gems. You know what I'm saying? Still here, making money nowadays, a little more on VB, I guess. But, you know, again, I don't know, man. It's something has to happen, man. VB is just, they can't continue on this path. That's going to be bad.
Yeah, I don't have a big problem with the guys who made a bunch of money buying, I don't want to say dirty gems, but the ones that bought the cheap gems that didn't end up being dirty because they had to take a chance. That's a big gamble to go buy those without having cash out and then hold them until cash out. And I know a lot of people did that and made a lot of money, and I don't fault them for that at all. That's good. That's a good move. Let's see. Greedy One says that's the problem. Number 40 is no longer obtainable. No, actually, I guess it is if you contact VB and work out a deal with them, apparently. Frank Sabaka says VB can do what it wants, but no one would have cared if they were open about this and let the whales bid on these low mints. It's just strange that they do the backroom deals in secret, and nobody from VB has said a word about it. The only reason we know about this is because we have the tweets from Dannyboy. So it is kind of I feel like they should be on this and talking about it, but I know that their main guy for community relations is Rev Alex, and I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I think he's currently on vacation. And like the only time I've ever heard of him being on vacation, is just kind of crazy that this is what happened while he's on vacation. Maybe that's why it happened at this particular time. I don't know. Conspiracy theories. That's what we do here on Fudders. Flo says they're saying every Medium article available globally, but that's a lie. It does say that on every. Oh, I hear what you're saying, but it does say that on every Medium article that these low serial numbers are being withheld for licensors, promotional, team, and comp distribution. So none of that really relates to selling them off app to Wells. What's up, Bruin88? What is up with this guy paying $10,000 for $78,000 worth of collectibles? I think what you would be referring to there, let me pull the browser back up, is assuming that this guy got all of these collectibles here, some with lots of low serial numbers, as a trade for all of the House of Cards that he sent to VV, but I don't think that's what it was. I think he probably got a discount. He probably got credit for the House of Cards, but why would VV let them do that? And how much credit did they give him? That seems like almost the strangest part of the whole deal. All right, I'm gonna go, before we go to the next subject, I'm gonna go to both of you guys. Give me your theory, your best theory that you can on why Dannyboy sent them House of Cards. That's what I can't get. What do you think? I'll start with you, BE. What's your best theory on why Dannyboy sent House of Cards during this whole OTC deal to VV?
I mean, I think he just potentially lost a lot of money on them. I mean, have you seen where they're at? What are they at, $140 right now? And they were over 1,000. I mean, yeah, obviously we're not at the same price as we were a year ago, but even from a couple months ago, or 4 months ago, maybe it was just, hey guys, I put a lot into this. I even bought some of these. Maybe I got them dirty gems, maybe I didn't. Can you make me whole? I mean, maybe that's how the deal went. I mean, if you want to, think of it that way, I'm not sure, but I mean, that would be the first thing I'd want to get rid of. So yeah, I think it's just they're not worth much, and he wanted to, fix the situation.
Sounded like Dannyboy was a really good negotiator. What do you think, Mo?
Yeah, I mean, I just got as my lawyer, apparently. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why VV is even trading directly with the customers, man. Again, it's just a weird business relationship to me. I mean, look around at like Palm and other companies, you just don't see it. HRO, you don't see it. I mean, they give back to their collectors and their community, but they're not sitting there wheeling and dealing and, making, it's just a weird time. Can you clarify one thing for me real quick?
I'll try.
Dannyboy's tweet where it says VV was not hacked, right?
Right.
This was clearly because he knew that people were onto it, right? Like, what happened first? Did someone, who was it, Javier, right? Javier?
Right, yep.
So he uncovered that first, right? So this was the guy, let me just...
Long Trader was on it too.
Okay, yeah, I know there's a few guys, right, that monitor that stuff. So... when you realize you're busted in something or it's about to become an issue, you try to get out in front of it, make that statement that's going to like protect you. I don't know if the statement protected him because, man, this, like I said, it's weird. BB was not hacked. There's no, I don't know. It's like, if there was some sort of contract in place as a know your business, wouldn't he not be able to talk about it? Wouldn't there be some sort of NDA? Like, we don't, this is like hush hush.
Nah, I think it's probably more like know your customer. I don't think we have any type of NDA whenever we sign up for know your customer. I don't think so. I don't know much about
we're
it.
We're not doing contracted deals apparently for, X amount of dollars. That's crazy amounts of money.
There's got to be some type of contract going along with that. Crimson is in the house. What's up, Crimson? Says VV's problem is that you're not in the club, then you basically get no love from VV. Oh, that's us. We're the Fudders. That's how we feel. That's why we're here, baby. That's why we're fudding. Greedy One's in the house. What's up, my man, Greedy One? He says that's the one thing the way he did it kept half the info off of the chain. Ooh, we have no numbers for those collectibles. That's a good point. The way they did it, you don't get the full information, but you never do on a Mutascan. You never get prices or anything like that. News Now says, so Danny got caught holding the bags on that one, and he was allowed to trade in his bags to position into other things. We don't know. They haven't told us for sure. We haven't heard any type of explanation from Dannyboy on that about the Amelia Earharts, and we don't know. Hopefully we'll find out something soon. Paul Davies says the hacked comment came from someone who messaged David to ask if they were being hacked when they found all the transfers. Yeah, that was I Help Society. We were just talking about that, and it was kind of interesting to hear some of David Yu's responses. All right, guys, we got a few things to talk about today. The next thing is the new Cowl utility. The 52-week utility was recently announced for Cowl holders, people who collect on the DC Palm platform. Before we get into the utility itself and how upset people are about it, let me know what your experience is, if any, on the DC Palm platform. I know, Mo, you're a fellow Cowl holder, right?
Yes, sir. Love me some Bat Cows, XDNK. I've been all about it since day one. Never had a problem with it. Always wanted to buy one. I'm a big time supporter.
Let's go. What about you, BE? Do you ever go for the drops on the DC Palm?
I have gone for the drops. Please shoot me now for not getting the Bat Cowl. I'm kind of upset about it. I did not get one. I haven't gone on any of the drops in the past couple weeks. Did get the legendary Wonder Woman, which is worth, I think, $5 right now. So wow. I haven't been very lucky on it, but I do like it. So, I mean, maybe one of these days I'll get a Bat Cowl so I can get, the first mint like you guys get to get. But yeah, I like the project. So yeah, I'm going to still go for it. I'm waiting for that action number 1. Like everyone, right?
Yeah, everybody's excited whenever they drop Action Comics number 1 is going to blow the app up. Is it even an app? I guess they don't have an app. They just have a website. But if you're a Bat Cowl holder, you'll know that you get new utilities every certain amount of time. And they just had the most recent one. And a lot of people in the community were not very happy about it. Basically, what you got was an airdrop for the second part of the Bat Cowl mystery, the Bat Cowl. Mo, you know more about it than I do. What's the comic called? Batman the Legacy Cowl?
Yep, the Legacy Cowl. So we got issue number 2. We're also gonna get access to a Bat Cowl only comic, which is like Batman and Detective Adventures number who gives a fuck. Basically, if you have a Bat Cowl, you have a Bat Cowl so you can get Action Comics number 1. You have a Bat Cowl so you can get, Batman number 1, Action Comics number 1, and that was the other one. There's 3 that are better than
the Wonder Woman first appearance.
No, that's up there. That's definitely up there. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Batman number 1, Detective Comics 27, and Action Comics number 1. Those are the 3. Oh. If you buy a Bat Cowl, that's why you have it, not because of anything else that's going to happen. You own it because of those 3 comics, and you want the low mint numbers at on the early sale, right? I mean, let's just be real. So if people want to get mad, they can get mad. I'm not too mad about that. I'll moonboy the hell out of that one.
I don't know how that's how I feel about the Bat Cows. I thought the Bat Cows were supposed to be the crown jewels of the platform. Of course, they don't sell as the crown jewels, and they recently had an AMA, and people weren't very happy with how the AMA went either, because whenever we asked, or whenever somebody asked them about the Bat Cows and why they're not treated like the crown jewel, they pretty much just replied, "We can't tell y'all anything that has to do with prices, so we can't reply." And they really wouldn't answer a lot of questions, and they really don't interact with the community at all. What's the face of DC Palm besides Jim Lee is the only thing I can think of. What do you think, BE? Do you think VV does a better job of interacting with the community? Of course, some people would think maybe that's a downfall of VV, or is it better the way DC does it, where they don't really interact at all?
I mean, I definitely think it's important for them to interact with us. I think it makes us more excited. So in that part, having those AMAs that we can watch and see what's going to happen, seeing the toys behind them and saying, oh, maybe Pokemon's going to actually be here soon. Something like that. I like that. So I think that's a mistake that they're doing on Palm. But then again, sometimes the guys open their mouths on the VV side and you want them to shut it. So it's a double-edged sword. But I think I'd rather have more information than less. They should be talking to us.
That's true. That's a good point. It's always better to have more information than less. Frank Sabaka says, holding the Bat Cowl also could have got you the Black Adam premiere in NYC. Oh, yeah. And there's a couple other events that they had some type of utility for Bat Cows. Big A said he sold his comic. I guess that was the airdrop, Bat Cowl Legacy Chapter 2 for $14. I'm still holding mine. And SoCal Homie wants to know if those drops are retroactive for your Bat Cowl. Yeah, they should be. They should be in your account. You should have gotten all the airdrops if you're a Bat Cowl holder. Tom says,
yeah, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, because you mentioned, I thought the Bat Cowl was supposed to be the crown jewel, right?
Yes.
Again, it's not. It's not going to be the crown jewel. Superman number 1 is already a better, pickup than a Bat Cowl, right? Financial-wise, long-term. So, every crown jewel's got to be behind locked doors. What do you need to get into a locked door? You need a key. What's the key? The bat cowl. Again, these are all the things when you start piecing them together, right, with rational thinking and rational thought processes, we start to realize that a lot of bitching and complaining that people are doing is not really warranted. So, I mean, you could be upset that you're not getting, $1,000 worth of value every 52 days for the utility. That's fine. But to me, I have the bat cowl like for those 3 comics, and then, the Wonder Woman and a few other ones. But I don't know, man. I think we're just looking at it a little skewed when it comes to Palm these days.
No, I agree with you 100%. I'm trying to be a fudder, but you're exactly right that the utility of getting early access for these big-time comic drops and getting the low token IDs is really the biggest utility of all, 100%. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm surprised that the rest of the Batcow community was kind of upset about it. But then again, the Batcave is a Twitter space that they have. It's like 24/7. All day, every day. So they run out of stuff to talk about. They got to find something to complain about, and DC doesn't give them much. So that's probably what happened there. Crimson says, I also think VV is going to destroy their marketing, manipulating to this degree. But if we have interoperability and self-custody, it severely limits their ability to do this. And one of my bullish things about DC Palm and collecting on DC Palm is that I feel like, personally, DC Palm is going to have interoperability long before VV does, and that those comics will do really well on OpenSea. Do you guys agree?
100%. And I was going to mention that too. Yeah, I mean, that first and foremost is going to be the play. I don't think VV will see interoperability. And if they do, you're going to take your comic out. It's going to be a flat image. Probably won't be able to read it. You have to import it back into VV, which if that's the case, those people would probably just bought it on VV in the first place. So they're not going to be buying it. I mean, that's unless they're going to hold it for value, then maybe they would. But I don't know, man. I think interoperability for DC is massive.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like, if you can't read the comic, VV's comics, man, that's going to suck. Nobody's going to want to do that. So, yeah, since they have it, there where they're going to be able to take it off and be able to read it, I think that's going to help. That's going to be good.
I personally think DC Palm and VV will make their comics readable before they make them interoperable. I feel like you have to, or they're going to lose a lot of value.
No, it's not up to them. It's not up to them. It's up to, if they go to OpenSea, that's what OpenSea's technology is. OpenSea's technology doesn't say you can sit there and read comics on their platform. It doesn't work that way. So they would have to build another app, which they already have. And if people aren't coming to that app, then why the hell would you build it again?
True, you'd have to use a
web
reader, and it'd have to be the VV web reader, so you're basically going to the VV.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're in a freaking loop. Now you're in some sort of, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just, when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, it's a joke. It really is a joke how they expect this to work out.
Big A says, the Batcow early access got me a mint number 7 common that I was able to sell for $100 on a common when the floor was $20. Yeah, I got the number 4, I think, Harley Quinn legendary comic on one of those drops, and I was able to sell it for more than twice the floor price. Big A says the low mints you get from early access is the hidden best perk. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Big Game said they will allow third-party wallets, but they have no plans for it to go live on OpenSea. How can you have a third-party wallet and then tell me I can't put it on OpenSea? If it's in a third-party wallet, I can do whatever I want, right? Unless the third-party wallet has walls up or something. Parta says I definitely get some good mints by participating in the Batcow early access drop for sure. Yeah. I'll even go for comics that I don't think are going to be profitable to go for, but knowing that I'm going to get a low token ID, that increases my chances of making a profit that day. Greedy One says, what do you think cash out options will be for DC? I don't see why they don't go to Wire. And when I mentioned this to somebody in my Discord server, that they said they are going to Wire, but I didn't see any proof about it. What do you guys think the cash out options for DC are?
Just give us USDC already. For Christ's sakes, man. Why is this so difficult? Let me just take my damn money out immediately. All right? I mean, listen, I win money on DraftKings. Rainmakers killed it all year. Why'd I kill it? Because I was confident and comfortable putting money in. Because I knew I could kick ass and then take money out the next morning. And it would be there within 15 minutes, no questions asked. You know what I'm saying? Just USDC. I don't understand what the problem is.
I don't know. USDC might be a bad example because I know I just recently sold something on Solana and I traded it over to USDC, sent my USDC to Coinbase to cash out. And once it was at Coinbase, it was stuck because Circle was going through all those problems right then. What do you think, B?
Yeah, I mean, they got to get that figured out. I mean, that's a huge thing to not be able to cash out. I mean, however they do it, just make it happen. Just let us cash out somehow. And, even on VV, I wish we could cash out. We'd get it instantly. That would be nice. But yeah, they need to get that figured out and they need to do it quickly or they're going to lose people.
Yeah, that's true. And for the FUD part, to finish this off before we move on to Elmon X, I will say that what they're building up for is something that we've seen several times is whenever they announce cash out again, whenever that time happens, all those prices are going to fall. So, I mean, maybe you could play the market until that time, but you better be getting ready to floor your stuff whenever they announce cash out because the prices will drop. It happens on every platform. There's nothing you can do about it.
Damn right.
The next thing we're going to talk about is the Elmon X Starry Night drop. If you guys were watching my live stream during the drop, I was live for it. You could see it was super buggy. You could see all the tweets that Elmon X have put out about it, saying that they apologize for the drop experience. As someone mentioned in the chat, I was actually lucky enough to get an original Starry Night about 10 minutes after I ended the live stream. If you were watching the live stream, I was just going back and forth. I skipped the queue part completely. It was on that page you really weren't supposed to be on, and every time I clicked to get one of those paintings, is it called a painting? I guess we'll call it a painting. Every time I clicked to get one of those paintings, it would go to my cart and my cart would be empty. So after I ended the stream, I just kept doing that back and forth while I was watching BB Arcade's live stream, and soon enough, out of nowhere, I got in there and I was able to purchase one of the originals. And I know the price on that, last time I checked, was 0.3 ETH, which is around $500, and then the animated is going for even more than that, $700 or $800. Mo, BE, I'll start with you this time, BE. What do you think about the Elmon X platform? Did you go for the Starry Night drop? Do you think it's bullish or bearish over there?
I didn't go for it. I was actually not feeling well. Wish I had. First, I want to say, why can't these people get their shit together on these drops? I don't get. I mean, every time, every company, how hard is it to figure this out? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So that just makes me upset because people go on there and they're ready to go, and then some stupid thing gets in the way, and you don't get an NFT, or they make 30 of the same number and got to fix it. So that part I don't like. In the long run, man, it scares me. In the long run, I think right now, if this is unprofessional, advice here, but right now I think you can make money. I think in the long run, though, if anyone could just go make, an NFT and put it out there, something that's public domain, that's a little scary for me. So, I mean, I'll go for the drops, but I don't know if I'm going to pay $800 for something.
True, yeah. I mean, the drop system to me definitely was crazy. It was a show. It was one of those shows, you know what I mean. But that doesn't bother me at all. I've been doing this for a long time, and I've gone for first drops on platforms many times. Every time a platform, an NFT platform, has their first ever drop or their second ever drop, it's always a show. Every time. I remember the Topps MLB wax drop. That was so bad they never had a second drop. I mean, it was horrible. They've had the Matrix drops was a wild, crazy drop as well. If anybody who was around to go for Nightwing and DeLorean drops. So I'm not surprised that they have buggy drops, but what really kind of concerns me when it comes to holding mine, because I see you smart buying. Somebody else asked, am I hodling my Starry Night? I'm definitely hodling my Starry Night. I have no plans of selling it. Definitely not selling it for less than $1,000. But what do you guys think? I'm kind of scared about what BE was talking about when it comes to public domain. Mo, do you think these Mona Lisas and Starry Nights really have the value? I mean, right now the market is kind of showing that maybe they do, with Mona Lisa sitting at like $1,500. What do you think?
Well, we might need a Moon Boy alert scene here sooner rather than later. I do agree. No, I agree. I think, and it's just because of what I spoke about with Palm, interoperability. Not only that, it's on OpenSea. If this was on some obscure, behind the walls, closed ecosystem type of deal, I'd be worried about public domain like B's talking about. But man, because this is on OpenSea, everybody's going to know this is the first one that dropped. People care about first appearances. This is a big deal. If it was to come out again, it would have more backlash because of, oh, you're just trying to do it again and somebody else already did it. You know what I mean? More than people embracing it to make money again. I don't think it would do anywhere near as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. I wish I would have got one. I was kind of in your boat. I was like, man, I've seen this before, man. Ain't my first rodeo. Let me just keep refreshing and doing this. And I did not get lucky, but
persistence usually pays off on drops like that, especially buggy drops. But I want to respond to something you said there, Mo, and get your opinion on it. You're saying that that this is the first Starry Night on the blockchain, but it's public domain, and I'm sure there's other Starry Nights that came out before this on OpenSea that just Tom, Dick, and Harry put out themselves. What about those?
Yeah, but those are like if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around, did it? You know what I'm saying? It's one of those types of deals because there's probably very few of them made. If anything, they were probably some ridiculously horrible, poor quality looking pieces of work. And I don't know, maybe they sell for a couple bucks, like a JPEG. I don't know. I feel like these were, they're well done. You can put them in 3D. You can spin them around, look at the back of the painting, right? So I don't know, man. I feel like this is on a whole different level. If there are other ones out there, maybe someone in chat can link it.
I'm gonna look them up right now to see what they look like. If there's any other OpenSeas, I know for sure I looked up the Mona Lisas, and there were plenty of Mona Lisas. A lot of them had like Andrew Tate's face here, and then you had the guy from XXX, whatever his name is. Vin Diesel was on a few of those. Those were the ones selling for the most, the Vin Diesel Mona Lisas for some reason. JOC says, how did people get it with the stream ended? Nobody got any. It was right when they said we're pausing it. For some reason, right when they said we're pausing the drop, several people were able to get in. If they were going back and forth like I was, that was the time we got in. I'm not sure how it happened, but I'm not sad about it.
I can give you some insight as someone who codes. I guarantee when they wrote that code to pause, I guarantee there was a cooldown there where it actually stopped it. And then it was probably like 15 to 30 seconds, or maybe however long it took for people to get in, where they were like, oh, you know what? Now it's in an open loop until it closed off completely. Like it just got stuck in that weird limbo, and people like you that were spamming this shit just caught that window, man. You know what I'm saying? And I was spamming it too. I wish I would have caught that window. I would have definitely bought it. But here's the kicker. I'm in New York. You guys aren't. For whatever reason here, everything that I try to buy just gets denied, whether it's my debit card, credit card. They don't let me buy shit here. They're always like, well, it's jurisdictions, this and that, and I'll call the card company. Vivi works for some reason, the biggest scam on the freaking planet. They allow them. But, most other companies, I try to buy things with a credit card, especially crypto stuff. They're like, nope, no shot.
I did get a message. I got a text from my bank saying that they didn't say it was declined. They're like, is this fraudulent? I had to reply yes for them to let it go through. What was you going to say, BE? Sorry about that.
On some of the credit cards, you can call ahead and pre-authorize it. So, yeah, I'd say anyone out there who has run into that issue, try calling your credit card company. Say, I'm going to be buying, from this company. Just let it go through, and that's your best bet. Because a lot of these scenes are going to be like, what is this? Why are you spending this much money? So, but you can do that. You can give that a try.
I had the lady at TD Bank. I was flipping her on digital comics. She was telling me about her kids and comics. I'm like, oh, check out Vivi. That lady probably hates me right now.
All right, let me pull up a Van Gogh. I found some Van Goghs, some Starry Night Van Goghs that were on OpenSea just by random people. You can see this one. None of them are for sale, but it looks just like the Van Gogh art. That does have some volume. Some were sold.
No. Click on these. Do they actually look like the Van Gogh art? Do they have frames? Can you put them in augmented reality? Did this person take time and actually make a product? Or they just scam, a Starry Night image? Because that's a big difference, man.
You're not lying. That's what it looks like right there. And if you look at the Starry Nights that we got,
like you can't click on it. You can't spin it around, right? Like this is a basic JPEG, and they're not selling. Nobody knows about who the hell this person is that made it, right? So again, you got a big name behind it with Elmon X. I never really heard of him, but apparently they got followers. I always like to use Twitter followers and volume on stuff like that to see how I think they're gonna do. And I think Elmon X pretty much hits all the metrics that I'm looking for.
And they have Patrick Hughes. I mean, so they have a major artist on there. So that does give them a little more credibility than probably some guy in China, which a lot of these are. I know it for sure because I have a friend who lives in China, and that's what they were doing, even with Pokemon stuff, just like putting these out a couple years ago, just crap. People were buying them. So
shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. This is our first ever FUDDERS stream. We call this our FUDDERS live stream. It's me, Mo, and BE from the VV Drop channel. Both of their YouTube channels are linked in the description. We're going to do this every Monday at 6 p.m. And we plan on having a guest when we do this. We didn't want to have a guest for the first one so I can introduce my co-host to you guys. But we're thinking about either having somebody who's in the Twitter controversy that week, or we just have a Moon Boy who can maybe debate our FUD arguments. However, I don't know. We're sounding like Moon Boys a little bit today. Let us know what you think in the chat. Shout out to Patient Hollers here. That's another great YouTuber, a VB YouTuber you guys can follow. Gritty One gave up after the stream. Persistence. I kept saying I was giving up though, so that's kind of my fault. I said I was giving up, but I was just still clicking it. I wasn't really even paying attention to it. It's not like I was spam clicking. I just got really lucky. Greedy One says, I have USAA, and they love to stop me from making purchases. Woody says, I called my bank and complained. They gave you a little more leeway. Nice. Yeah, I got a message, but they let it go through. Big A says, from buying gyms on VV, I already had international transactions often. Oh, okay, so your credit card company was used to it. Let's go. Smart Bass says, whenever I make international payments, my bank robot calls me. You got a bank robot? How do you get one of those? My bank don't have a robot. All right, guys, let's go to the next topic. This topic is about Rainmakers, which is a DraftKings platform. DraftKings Rainmakers. Mo, in particular, knows a lot about this platform. He made a lot of money on platform, and it has to do with the NFL. And I guess you buy these NFTs, and I think you can play like fantasy sports with them, but they got a class action lawsuit going on, and they're being called securities. I got some graphics here of the lawsuit itself, Mo, but can you give us more information about what's going on over there at DraftKings?
Yeah, I mean, as little as we know right now, back in, I want to say the second or third month of Rainmakers in season 1 for the NFL, they got shut down. I believe it was like Maryland, Pennsylvania. It was a couple states that got shut down just like overnight. And yeah, like regional jurisdiction and local jurisdiction just kind of started trying to push that weight around as to, what the hell's going on as they were catching wind of it. We also saw a lot of commercials in like the preseason and in the early couple weeks of the NFL. Never saw them again after that. So it was almost kind of like they're like, oh shit, they're onto us type of deal. And they just started hiding the ads. Because I found it weird that they didn't promote Rainmakers a lot more, considering there was a ton of people playing, man. I mean, there was like 440 something thousand people that own at least more than 10 cards. So people that are at least buying something on the marketplace at some point. So I mean, they definitely had the volume. It's on DraftKings. There's billions upon millions of people that use DraftKings for all fantasy sports and actual gambling, casinos. So I mean, the NFTs just kind of make sense. But yeah, apparently, they're trying to come down now and say, I guess, that it's a security potentially. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this in chat too, because I understand what a security is, but I just feel like, man, we're gonna get to the point where how is anything not going to be a security at some point if we're all going to go, real money, which then nothing's going to be worth anything because it's just government's going to have their hand in it at all times. It's going to be regulated. People are going to be, crippled. They're not going to be able to build out the way they want because of stuff like that and being, have people overlooking all the time. I don't know, man. It's really weird, and I don't know what the hell we're going to do here because Rainmakers is coming back for season 2, as far as we know, but it could look a lot different right now.
Yeah, I want to hear what BE thinks about it, and I want to come back to you, Mo, and have you explain to us exactly how you play Rainmakers. But before we get into it, I don't understand the whole security arguments, and I never did, because every time I look up the definition of security, the first 2 words are a fungible. It's fungible. These are non-fungible tokens. I don't understand how non-fungible tokens can be securities if securities are fungible. BE, what do you think?
Well, I don't know much about this, and there's actually a test out there the Supreme Court came out with in 1933, the Howey test. One of the things I know is if you had just a piece of art, like one NFT, and the artist sells it to you, it's interoperable, and he's done with it. It's to you, you can go sell it. That I don't think they can make into a security. I think when you can start manipulating the market, when the interaction between the buyer and the seller are more together, if the seller's marketing, if his marketing is going to make the stuff worth more, I think utility also can cause some issues. So yeah, I think in the end, yeah, these are going to be securities, and I don't think they're going to pick and choose. They're just going to say these are securities. I think if it was less hands-on by the company, they might have a case that it's not a security. I think eventually, because people go in to make money, if the company says anything about you making money on it, they're in trouble. It will be a security. They're trying to get around it, like VV saying, well, collectors at heart. Well, SEC doesn't care. They are going to look at this and say, what are they doing? Are they paying people to promote their product? When they pay people to promote the product, does it make it worth more? And they're going to, put it through these tests, and I think they're going to fail. I think right now we're okay. Eventually it's going to happen. Of course, I'm no expert, but that's kind of what I understand.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Let's check the chat real quick. JOC says, what about us who spent the last 2 years at a loss? Everything I bought flopped. Only thing holding it is AF15 uncommon. I got even all my top shots. Oh, don't even tell me about NBA top shots. I still got a bunch of those too. And IP NFTs at a loss. Don't follow my picks, haha. I mean, I think we're all at a loss. Anybody who got in before the bear market has got to be at a loss. I mean, I'm not technically at a loss because I got in like super early and I cashed out a bunch, but I didn't put in a bunch, so I didn't make a bunch. I think if you probably invested a lot, it'd be hard to still be in the profit now. I could be wrong about that. Captain Obvious.
I mean,
sorry, go ahead, Mo.
I just want to chime in because I am someone who has profited way more in the bear market than I did in the bull market. I just want to make that clear.
Nice.
And it's because I got my ass handed to me from Vivi. You know what I'm saying? And on my epic Joker card on HRO, I learned that lesson, that valuable lesson of when you start taking screenshots of shit, that's when it's time to sell it. All right? So when I'm like hitting my boy, like, yo, Joker's up to 4,400. Next time you sell that shit. But the point is, for people like JOC, when I take losses like that early on and I watch the market, you learn how to read the market. It's never a waste of time. Anytime you can learn in life, it's never a waste of time. And I've made tons of money being able to catch the bottom, read the bottom. I mean, I was a stockbroker back in '99 when I got out of high school. I did it for like a year. I had my Series 7. I didn't like it. I felt like I was scamming people on a daily. Again, I like to wake up and look at myself in the mirror. But yeah, you can make a lot of money, man, just by learning from your mistakes. So I would, just take that, man. Take that and you'll make some money. You'll make it back.
Yeah, I completely agree. Reading the market. Another thing I think is important is for you hedge your bets. If you're a little worried, hey, I'm afraid this is going to be worth a lot, and not sure about this. Sell some, keep some. That's kind of what I do. So if something blows up, I have it, but I've also sold stuff to kind of cover if it doesn't. So yeah, I've learned how to read this market much better. I've done really well. Of course, I got lucky with that AF15 SR that I got on the drop.
Nice.
I've had a couple other little lucky things, but
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, Shelby Cobra's never happy about that. I get to pull it apart all the time.
Yeah, when it comes to securities, though, I'm still stuck on the whole fungible thing personally. But I think what BE said has a lot to do with why DC is very hands-off and why they always say that in AMAs whenever we ask them questions that might affect the price in some way. They're always like, no, we can't say anything that has anything to do with price whatsoever. So it's kind of a little strange, I guess, that BB has no problem with it. I guess they're going to try to make the argument that these are not securities. What do you think, Mo? Do you think the SEC has looked into VV and decided that they're not securities? Do you think VV is going to be considered securities at some point?
I think when the ruling finally comes out, and it will come out, if this Web3 NFT world that people have been building and continue to pour money into on a daily basis, if this is going to continue down this road, there will be a ruling from the SEC, and that'll pretty much give us everything we need to know. And like I said, I think it's personally going to be if you're putting money in and taking money out like a market, no matter whatever happens in between, they might come down and consider that a security, which would hurt everything. Rainmakers, every NFT project. It could hurt Fortnite if Fortnite decides to start doing, skins on the blockchain. I think we spoke about this on the racing. They just came out with a huge thing. Again, I feel like it's not a place for FUDDERS, but they are basically pushing the Web3 initiative inside Fortnite to a certain extent because the verse coding that they're using, the language, it was what drives Web3. So they're kind of setting up the groundwork here for that. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. But the SEC is going to have to make a decision at some point. They can't just let this keep sitting around and letting companies, try to wing it. It's gonna hurt people like us more than anybody else.
I personally think that there's too many people invested, too many companies have sprung up. There's just too much of an industry around NFTs for them just to say, nope, you can't do it no more. No NFTs. So I don't know. Hopefully they.
I mean, you remember slap bands? You remember Tamagotchis? I mean, there was a lot of fads that went away.
Yeah, but they went away because people didn't want them anymore.
No, I know. Listen, I'm joking, but the money still gets poured in here on a daily basis. There's still big companies that come in every single day. If people were pulling out, saying the way I pull out, in the bedroom, I would be concerned. But what's happening here is, like I said, man, more people just keep pouring more money in on a daily basis. And Mark Cuban says it best, man, follow the money,
We know Dannyboy just poured a bunch in there. Go ahead, BE.
Do you think, though, if they come out with a decision, even if they do, they call it a security, I mean, it could help. I mean, maybe not right now. Maybe there'll be some after effects of the older stuff, but then you can get real investors, because I think, people are scared, to get into this. If there's rulings and you know what you're getting into, there might be a lot more money than once people actually have the definition of what this is and it's actually regulated. I don't know.
If it's fair. If it's not fair and they decide to just, completely decimate everything and keep everybody under such like a stronghold that the market can't grow and breathe. Because here's the big thing we want to talk about real quick, but right, the main push here and the main theory is you want to go conspiracy theories and stuff like that. They're trying to push the digital dollar, right? That's what the government wants. They want to push the digital dollar for multiple reasons. And the biggest reason is that they can control our money flow easier with a digital dollar. They can actually put an expiration date on a digital dollar, which would then completely, they can fix the economy anytime they want at the snap of a finger by putting expiration dates and things like that. So again, it really depends on how they rule. If they rule fairly, yes, the people with money on the sideline will come in. If they come in and they want to just be tyrants about it, and again, try to push their own, narrative the way some people think, and I don't think those people with money are going to come in, and then we're going to be sitting here holding the bags watching it go to the bottom.
I see some conspiracy theorists in the chat too. CBDC is absolutely coming. I mean, I don't really hate the idea of a coin for the government, because there's so much government waste and so many bureaucrats who steal the money that is meant for people in their communities. And if it was on the blockchain and it was traced, then everybody would know where their tax dollars are going to, and they wouldn't be as upset about having to pay the tax dollars because they know they're actually getting spent in good spots. All right, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just my liberalness right there. Before we move on to the next topic, though, Mo, for people who are interested, can you tell us how DraftKings Rainmakers works? It's with the NFL, correct?
Yep. I mean, they actually have golf. I believe they have other sports coming too. They didn't do NBA because So Rare does NBA, so poorly, by the way. But yeah, they mainly do the NFL, and it's basically like their fantasy football platform. So you get a starter pack for free, right? Just like a drug deal. They give you the first dose for free, so you come back. Nice. So they give you a free pack. You set up your lineup. They had the Genesis drop, early on, right? Anytime you see Genesis on anything, if you can afford it, buy it. You'll probably make money, right? I think we learned that by now. So I bought a pack. I pulled a legendary card with my uncle. We flipped it for a ton of money and basically ran our whole season. But what you do is you basically put together a lineup of 5 or 6 players depending on the tournament. Sometimes you need, like the showdowns. Are you familiar with like actual fantasy football? Like you have like all day tournaments, and then you have like individual game tournaments called showdowns. So showdowns, you'll need like a captain, can be anybody, and then 4 other players. Other tournaments, you'll need like a quarterback, then you need 2 running backs, you need 2 receivers and a flex, right? So depending on how you play. But either way, you're putting together a lineup, competing against other people in tournaments. Tournaments were all free to enter, by the way. There was no entry fee, which was kind of their loophole, I think, of trying to get around it. There was no entry fee. But however, you were paying for the packs, for the cards that were now sitting in your wallet. But anyway, you're putting together a lineup, competing against other people. Mint numbers, your mint numbers would all add up together, and that would be your team score. And then your team score, let's say you had the same score as somebody else point-wise, it would then go to mint numbers. Whoever had the lowest team score would take that higher position. So sometimes, it would give people a couple extra $100, a couple extra $1,000, depending on the type of tournament. But man, they had a lot of people playing, and they are coming back for season 2. So I mean, that's pretty much Rainmakers in a nutshell, I believe.
Man, I want to check that out. Petonius Chris says it's expensive. Like Mo said, he got lucky and hit a legendary on his first pack, which was perfect for
my only pack.
Oh, your only pack. That's all you needed, apparently. Patty Stack says, stuff on BB is just like Pokemon cards. No way I'm getting taxed on these. I mean, if you withdraw, you got to pay tax on that. Tom says, BB is more of the digital comic and collectible shop warehouse at this point. Ronnie Lido says, a reality show like Gold Rush is coming for crypto mining. Ooh, I like that idea. Big Hay says, we basically use digital dollars already. Only time I touch cash? Well, yeah, I guess that's kind of true, but it's not on the blockchain. You can't trace it. You can't see what the government's doing with the money. That's what's important to me. JOC says, I guess I sell everything and start again. I learned so much just to be broke, to make moves at moments, but as soon as it starts coming, it's on. My music and art don't play. Bad career choice. That's what I'm talking about. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic, which is, of course, the Disney Potion drops. And you might say, oh, that's not a FUD topic because everybody's pumped for the Disney Potions drop, right? I'm sure you guys are. But if there was something FUDdy to say about it, I would say that a lot of people are saying that VB introduced a burn mechanism, but made us pay for it. And not only do we have to pay for it, they get to make interest off of all the market transactions as well. And then somebody else said that they completely copied off of what BayC did. BE, where do you stand on the FUD argument for the Disney potion drops?
I'm a little curious. Are they going to take the ones they're holding back and make post?
I'll probably sell them to Dannyboy.
Yeah, right. I guess he's going to get. I need to talk to Dannyboy. This has been such a crappy market. We really needed something like this, even though we hate that we actually have to pay for it. I'm kind of happy. I don't want to be too much of a moon boy, but it's been kind of depressing, especially after buying those rabbits. But so I'm excited about it. I'm interested how it's going to go. In fact, I got to put my video out tonight about it. I'm really interested in what people think, like where it's going to go, because I have no clue. So I don't think there's any issue with it. I'm okay with it just because I think we needed it in this market.
Yeah, I was excited to see that they're doing a creative mechanic. I didn't realize at the time that BayC had done pretty much the same thing, but it doesn't bother me at all. I'm pretty excited about it. But actually, I guess you guys are right in the chat that the real FUD argument about this, what's up, MetaLemon? The real FUD argument is the bots is going to eat. I just forgot. I wasn't even talking about bots no more. That's already baked in. Like, that's a fact. I'm not getting the drop. There's gonna be nothing but L's in the chat. What do you think about the bots, Mo? And what do you think about my other FUD argument about it being a little bit like what BayC's doing over there with the potions?
To me, I'm closing my eyes here and I'm picturing a world in the year 2035. I'm in the VV-verse. I have smell-o-vision on, and I gather everybody around in VV Square, and I crack the potion open and I smell it inside the metaverse. That's where I see it going.
Oh, he definitely is holding his potions. What do you think, BE, about the bots? Can VV even do anything about it?
Of course they can. It's a bunch of crap that they can't. Now, can they get everyone know, and Mo knows more, especially if he's into coding. There's ways to do it. Probably people wouldn't like it, KYC before each drop. I thought the whole having to have the bank account connected to you would stop it. So I'm not quite sure how they're getting around it. They can control it better, and they know what's going on. They just don't want to do anything because it's helping the market, right? If they weren't there, it'd be even worse. So
I feel like they might be going backwards on it because BE, and tell me if you agree, the new, and I don't know when it goes into effect or if it has already, but the new system makes it to where you don't have to KYC to go for the drops. You only have to KYC to buy and sell on the market. You think that's a good thing, or is that going to cause more drops or more bots? Sorry.
Cause more bots. You're going to go like, oh, I just got $1 million NFT. Let me go to, this guy and have him, verified if he bought the account from somebody. I'll give you an extra, $10 or something in Indonesia or wherever it is. It's ridiculous. I understand them wanting to make it easy for people to get in. But there's a lot of people that have been in this for a long time, and we deserve some protection. And that's what we deserve for the money we put in, is some protection. We need new people, maybe make the KYC easier to do. I don't know, but we need it.
Shout out to all the homies in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us on FUDDERS, y'all. I see Jay Kill is in here. Big Boss in the house. JOC says BB is merely an ad machine now, more than collectibles, pushing new products like a toy store rather than important collectibles to help collectors. I don't know. They're always talking about getting those FAs. And if you guys heard the Disney, I guess, CEO or former CEO executive talking about how important the partner statue was because it's Mickey's first appearance on the blockchain. So I don't know. SoCal made a good point here. Bots are securities. I don't know the law, but I don't know if that's legit. Big A says, honestly, Platinum Moments and Lambo drops seem significantly less botted than the Rabbids. I think they turned up bot protection for big drops. Do you think they can turn up and down bot protection, Mo? Or do you think that really the best thing they can do is make people have to qualify for a certain level of MCP to go for drops?
Do I think a well-established, well-run company could scale something like that based on what they think the drop might do? Yeah. Do I think VV's doing that? Absolutely not. Yeah, if you're going to attack VV, you're going to get through with if you got bots. It's just the way it goes. I hate the fact that they went back to being able to buy without KYC. I think that was the dumbest thing that a platform infested with bots could ever do. I think it's also a good reason, actually, as to why a company like HRO thrives, because HRO had a huge bot issue, and I was actually in direct contact with Gavin Weeks through Discord, Twitter DMs rather. I hit him up on, with concrete evidence numerous times on Twitter, and to the point where I'm like, dude, you need to follow me and hit me up. I'm like, we need to have a discussion, And you know what? Those guys got taken care of. We don't see them on the marketplace anymore, and people feel comfortable. It's like we're looking up to Daddy David, and Daddy Dan out there to hold our hands and walk us through the VVverse and this whole landscape that we're going through. But they're just letting us fall on our face, man. Like I said, VV said we want to feel protected. I don't feel protected ever by VV. I feel like if I'm just putting my money in a slot machine and praying, and they don't love me. I got no MCP access. I haven't gotten a damn secret rare ever on VV. I'm lucky if I can get an uncommon, which, they sell for less than the common anyways. True. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do, but they just need to fix it. I know David had a conversation with Gavin Weeks from HRO. Man, I hope he gave him good information, because they got to turn the ship around. And I got hope, because they have the IP and money talks and bullshit walks.
I just don't know if you'll be able to do it on VV, because the botters are just so aware of what's going on at VV at all times. There's people that are botters who are probably in the community, hang out in Twitter spaces. We probably know their names and talk to them all the time. And in the background, they're botting them drops, because you got to be in tune with what's going on to know which drops to bot, right? Shout out to SmartBot says, I can bet that VV team has its own bots. Come on now, bots are way easier to control than you can think. Bots come and go, but VV has the same pattern. You think Reese is a botter? I don't know. I can't see Reese at his computer botting, but I could be wrong. Shout out to C Spills in the chat. What's up, C Spill? Crimson says, I thought KYC was supposed to stop or slow the bots. They did kind of pass it off as the reason why we're KYCing is to stop or slow the bots, but now you don't have to KYC to go for the drop. Shout out to YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate you, bro. And another problem with that whole not having to KYC to go for drops, because I feel like a botter could make 100 non-KYC accounts go for a really important drop, like the potion drop, and whatever 10 accounts get the drop, just KYC those 10 accounts. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You just got to have those 10 identities ready to roll. But if we learned anything from these bot operations, they do have those identities ready to roll.
Yeah, they'll find a way. There's so much money, they'll find a way. These criminals will find a way, for sure.
But he says, BB just tweeted that payout is paused again during the FUDDERS show, too. Oh,
you did it. You did it, bro. We broke it. Nice.
This is what happens when you start FUDDing live on YouTube. They just stop everything. They stop the payout. I'm about to pull that tweet up right now. We'll talk about it. Dang. This is new information here. You can see the Todd Father's reaction right there. It says
breaking news right here, boys.
Yeah, breaking news on FUDDERS, y'all. Wire has advised that they are working toward arrangements with new banking partners to facilitate payouts. This work is ongoing, and as a result, they have indicated that payouts are likely to be temporarily suspended from March 30th while arrangements are finalized. We will update you with any further information as we receive it. Thank you in advance for the understanding. BE, first reactions?
I don't know. What do you think, Mo? I want to kill myself.
What do you think?
Bingo! I won. It's all right on my bingo card. I won. Nice. Full house. Let's go.
Man, yeah.
No, listen, man. Here's the bottom line, right? That first of all, that's hilarious that would happen during the show. Thanks, BB. Appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Second of all, if you look bigger picture here, it's not just happening because of Wire, because of NFTs and the crypto space. This is happening across all banking sectors, all across the world. I mean, this is a huge economic problem. It's not just it's not just isolated to our little world here. So I think we need to understand that first and foremost. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely affecting, our projects the most, right, especially nowadays.
I think one super important thing that we need to point out, and that's probably the most important takeaway right here, is that we have until March 30th. So, I mean, you could cash out right now. You got a few days. So like DC gave us, whenever they pause their cash out, we have a little bit of a head start to cash out if you want to. BE, do you plan on cashing anything out?
I literally just got my money today. I cashed out last week, a little bit of money. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I would say if you want to cash out a little now, because who knows when it's going to come back online.
But when cash out goes away, prices go up. We've seen it on DC. We've seen it on VV before. When cash out goes away, prices go up. When they bring cash out back, we talked about it earlier, prices will go down. So expect that, because that's probably what's going to happen. All right, I do want to get on our price predictions on the potion before we end the live stream. And like I said, guys, this is our new Monday night live stream FUDDERS at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday. So make sure you guys hang out with us for next week, and we'll try to have a Moon Boy or another FUDDER on with us as well. Mahaho, thank you for hanging out with us. Mahaho says, always the same. VV official admits once they were caught, but never before. And I wonder how much is going on behind the curtains. We still don't know. We have a 3-class system: whales, bots, and dumb. I'm not a whale or a bot, so I don't really like that 3-class system, I'll be honest with you. Ordinary collectors, dumb ordinary, yeah, that's me, who pay full and take what's, yeah, that's basically me. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I know whenever it came to those Spider-Mans that had been disappeared from the drop and made the drop sell out, and they all ended up in these wallets that I guess were controlled by Vivi. I know that David Yu was asked about it, and the response that he gave was that they were all taken from bots, which is something like 25-30% of the supply. But then if you remember back then, a month later, they put out a Medium article saying that less than 1% of the supply ever goes to the bots. So, I mean, that to me seems like a lie by David Yu. I know you guys in the chat, everybody calm down. I know that's not a thing, but what do you think, Mo? Was it a lie, or I don't know, because those two things don't add up.
That was 100% some bullshit corporate response that he had to come up with. Somebody had to sit down in a room and write that with him, and they did a horrible job, because there's so many legal ramifications the second they start tying up people's assets. And these people that have bots have money, and if Vivi was messing with them like that, they would be taking them to court. If these bots get their accounts frozen, I don't think they have much of a leg to stand on. But the second they start, rescinding NFTs, which again they said they never did, but then all of a sudden you get caught with your pants down. It's like, oh well, no, actually what we did was we did exactly what you guys thought we were doing, but we're only saying that now because we got caught, that type of deal.
Yeah, what do you think, BE, about David Yu's response to the whole Spider-Man controversy?
Yeah, he pulled it out of his ass. I mean, he's trying to protect his, a decent product, right, with great IPs and all of this, and he's trying to protect it, and he's lying. I mean, he's lying. That's all I'll say. Sorry, dude.
I still like the guy personally. All right, guys. Before we end, we're gonna end our FUDDERS live streams by letting you guys know what each of us is excited for in the NFT community, NFT industry coming up in the week that's approaching. And I'll start off by saying the one we just talked about, of course, Disney Potions is going to be a huge drop. Like BE, probably I'll be on the market flipping, and I'm hoping to make a bunch of extra gems flipping potions this week on Wednesday's drop. I also am going to have Coffee Chris is going to be on the live stream with me for that drop as well. BE, what are you excited for about this upcoming week in the NFT industry?
Well, I'm super excited about Dark Avengers #1. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely Potion. I'm looking forward to, because it's a month long, like trying to guess what all the crazy manipulators and whales are going to do, trying to figure out what they're doing and what I want to do and how to get gems off of that. So I'm excited about it. Am I going to get one? I mean, I can do okay on drops with 1923 and minus 90. Are they keeping 90 of those? So yeah, I'm not getting one on the drop. And as far as the cost, who knows where they're going to be? 100, 150 maybe on the market, maybe more. I don't know. Yeah,
my price prediction, I forgot to give that. I've been thinking 150 to 200 the day of the drop. What do you think, Mo?
I think they're going to go for well over 200 personally. And not even because of the posters, just because people are going to want them. I mean, again, I want to bathe in it, so I'm definitely going to be looking for them. As far as what am I looking?
Yeah, go ahead. What are you going to look forward to on this?
I just want to smell like a Disney princess, to be honest. Lifelong dream. But yes, I mean, I'm actually looking forward to. I've been a moon boy half the show, I feel like, which is probably going to get kicked off the show soon. I'm on the bottom bitch, so I'm really not looking good here early on, chat. I might not be back next week. But I'm not looking forward to anything. So I'm going to go the opposite way here. I'm not looking forward to anything coming up this week. I'm actually looking forward to giving my freaking wild a rest. I'm going to get the potion, but I'm not going to overpay for it. DC comic this week, I think, is Kingdom Come. More like Kingdom Who Gives a Crap. Some people can buy that. It probably won't even sell out. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to hanging out. I'll be tuning in for your drops, but I will not be buying anything.
I did not know that Kingdom Come was the next drop on DC. I didn't know they had announced that or teased that already. I need to go in there and check that out. Sounds like it's nothing exciting, or Mo would be more excited about it. And I'm also excited about Photo Finish Live because it's money. Real money only racing, and we have been live streaming those on Fridays and Saturdays. Me and Mo knows, and the game's starting to pick up a little bit. My horse in particular is complete trash, but if I can get a good horse, I think that is a really good platform that people haven't discovered yet, and once they start marketing it, it could go to the moon. All right, guys, that's our FUDDERS live stream. We appreciate y'all hanging out for our first ever FUDDERS live stream. Like I said, we're going to be doing this every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern. My co-host Mo knows his YouTube channel is linked down in the description below, and then BE's YouTube channel, the VV Drop channel, is also linked down in the description below. So make sure you guys give them a subscription as well, so you can watch them when they go live or put out their videos about NFT topics. All right, guys. Once again, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see y'all next time. Later.